when you want to finish a fight, definitely the best way to do it is setting your entire body and your entire being on fire. Okay, yeah, no, that was pretty fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. The line was pretty strong. Burned all of me, made the power of the guild turn me into flames. Like that, and you gotta pull out the Dragon King mode. Just to end this fight once and for all. Natsu against Zeref. But there is quite a few things to talk about in this chapter, apart from one little cool moment that I had on there. It's a lot to do with Natsu and Zeref's finale in his, like, angel form. Not to mention as well Acnologia and the Fate of Jalal. And as well, some stuff that's going on with Lucy from last week's chapter as well, after she tried to fix Natsu's, like, Book of E.N.D. So we finally understood what was happening to Lucy after touching the Book of E.N.D. And yeah, this is what happens when you touch a giant demonic book that you have no idea of what it means. And the fact is that it's burning the insides of Lucy to fucking shred, because this is Natsu's demonic flame. This is, you're actually rewriting a part of his being into him, and if you even touch that, you're practically touching what Natsu generally is, which is just concentrated dark flame, and alongside with Demon Pass. So that's probably would explain, as you can see, like, Lucy's just, like, being, like, incinerated for the most part from the inside, and it's just like, you know, this is a clue and all that. It's just like, the fact that she's still getting up from this is like, I can do something about this, like, you know, regardless of what, she's, like, fighting through the pain, and it's like, the whole thing is like, you know, you're really lucky that Gray's here, because that's the thing, you can cool that shit down. But even from how it looks like, like, her entire face is getting fucked up, so I'm wondering if actually, like, I highly doubt it, but it would be kind of interesting if she did end up getting, like, a scar kind of onto it and all that, or you still see some of the damage from the veins. So it feels like, if anything, like, if this is the finale that Lucy's going to kind of get, as, like, also as well, like, they are described, from what we've seen the artist being described, like, I feel like it's a little bit weird, like, it still feels weird that Lucy, one of the main characters, kind of getting, not sidelined, but she's just, like, not kind of, like, main prevalent to, like, a lot to do with the Zeref fight. I feel like she's just there to support Natsu from the outside. I feel like it would mean a lot if she was actually there witnessing the fight at the same time, but then again, Zeref will probably just go for her immediately, same thing with Gray, and it's like, you know, even though, you know, like, when he finally understood, like, what was happening to Natsu, so, you know, the wound disappeared, and, like, someone rewrote the book itself, and it's like, yeah, you get corrupted and fall into darkness if you then attempt to do something like that. Someone that's, like, as strong as I am is only capable of handling such book, and it's like, you know, you're gonna be corrupted and fall into it. So yeah, and even where, like, kind of like Zeref's like, man, this is bullshit like that and all that, there's no life for, like, the changed ones, you can't accept that, and, like, Natsu kind of, like, you know, going there, he knew it was Lucy, he knew it was great happening. He's like, he got it after all this time. He's just like, you know, after everything, even after I fought Gray and went through, like, you know, I pulled, like, everyone through some horrible shit and all that, and, you know, I remember the reason and all that, like, I was fighting all this time. Everything is for the guild, everything is for the fairy tale, and that is what's going to be my final power and all that, and our greatest strength is going to be the fact that I'm fighting for everyone. It isn't just about me and settling a fucking goal anymore. It's more about ending it for everybody, like, you know, so no one else to suffer. And this is coming a lot more to the fact of, like, if people read the recent article with Hiramashima where he was, like, kind of describing Natsu as, like, Natsu's not a hero, he's not anything like Haru, where Haru's whole thing from, like, near chapter 1 was, like, to save the world. Like, he wanted to become the raid master. Like, if anything, for Natsu, he doesn't care what happens to the outside world, but if it involves Fairy Tail, that's the only time, like, he really steps up, that they're being attacked and being fucked with. And we've seen that with every single time when they either had to defend themselves from, like, when there was, like, Tenrajima because they were getting attacked, or when, like, you know, like, other members and all that tried to attack their guild. It's always, like, a lot of the time, like, Fairy Tail isn't the one that's doing the attacking a lot of the time. It's not defending, but we do see a couple of times, and, like, Natsu kind of got it after a while, even though, like, he's stubborn as a fucking mule and probably dumb as one sometimes as well, but he finally got it. And he's like, the fact that he was converting his entire being, the fact that his, like, entire, like, guild emblems glowing, like, just let's just absorb all of that, which we do, if you remember, and all that, as well. The fact that they got their magic power from, like, the actual tree itself, from the Temra tree. So I'm guessing with a lot of that, not only is he using his being just to fuel his magic into the Dragon King mode, but like, using this, so we might actually see some sort of E.N.D, kind of like this dragon scale form of him. But I feel like as well, he's, like, just draining the fucking energy of, like, the actual Fairy Tail itself, like, from just absorbing all of it from what we've seen. Like, as, like, I'm very curious to see, like, where that's going to be going, and it's like, you know, like, without, like, even Zeref, like, you're really going to keep refusing and denying reality, this world, and all that I can make everything better, and the fact that, like, he just tried to, like, say, like, you know, I'll make sure none of this stuff ever happens again, Natsu. You just gotta understand that. Even taking a chunk out of Natsu's chest again, like, slashing him up, like, he's like, I'm gonna make sure this ends, like, I love the clash, like, they had, and all that, pulling out the, like, the Dragon King, like, roaring fist, and the same thing with him when he pulling out the Flame Blade of Darkness, like, as both of them go to clash, and I was like, this truly will be the end, and disappear, and unfortunately, that's right at the end that we don't see any of it. Like, that was why I was like, I wanted to see them at least, like, punch each other, like, take each other down, but we're gonna have to wait the next time, and it's the same thing where it's like, I know, like, if anything, that's probably the biggest complaint. It's like, okay, explain how the fuck Natsu was able to go into Dragon King mode, and, well, those are the explanations I feel like that would be on there. The fact that, you know, they pretty much have said most of the time that you put your feelings into power, and, like, the same thing as well, like, where we've had the emblems and stuff like that, they actually do get their power and a little bit of power boost from the tree itself, so I feel like that could be something as well. And as well, you can have the other thing of that Natsu's burning his fucking entity inside of him. Like, he's just using all of his last energy, like his life force at this point, to, like, you turn himself completely into fire at that point. And, like, the fact that they're just juking out and continuously going out, I really goddamn enjoyed that stuff with what we saw in Natsu. Now, with the Jalal stuff, though, this is where we go into seeing that Jalal's entire plan is to knock Acnologia into the time lapse of, like, even Acnologia's, I'm gonna just absorb this, like, what is this? And, like, I am the Dragon King, I am the magic dragon, I devour everything. Just stop, Jalal, stop, like that. And it's like, and he's like, you know, I've got to do it, I've got to protect Urza, like, the last thing I can do. And I feel like, yeah, no, it's going there. Like, if anything, they're going to be talking about, and unfortunately, there was another interview as well that involved that, where it could share some stuff that's happening with a character soon. So, whether or not it'll be Jalal or someone else, but the fact that, like, Acnologia is grabbing, like Jalal right now and crushing him, and just that smirk, it's like Urza gets to see the person she loves being crushed alive right now. Like, I feel like Urza just can't catch a break for the most part, like, and you know why? It's because she's Urza. Like, I feel like this is, like, you know, like, Acnologia's like, this is for all the one-shots. And it's like, and like, I'll tell you what's going to be going one right now. 1 broken bone, 2 broken bones, 3 broken, boop. Oh, unfortunately, like, I don't think it's going to be as brutal as that, but maybe he would do that, or, like, Jalal may pull out the very last part of his fucking strength to push him, or whether or not we're going to be seeing an anime, but the fucking ship itself has just, like, it's completely gone. Like, Blue Pegasus' ship is just completely destroyed at this point, where it's like, they have to, like, crash land in the sea. They can barely hold on anymore, and it's like, yeah, now would be the time to pull someone, like, someone has to pull something out of their ass right now. Whether or not it'll be, like, the Broken Bones of Jalal pushing him into the time lapse alongside with him, that might be something to do right now and all that, like, and maybe say, like, a farewell to, like, Urza, but we'll have to wait and see about that. That's the one thing, like, questionable part of the chapter I was careful, but I feel like that's where it's kind of rearing up to, like, from on there, like, how it's going to be setting up, and I think, like, a lot of people kind of know why exactly, that, like, like, a certain character has to share the same fate as one from, like, Rave, so I feel like, without going too much into it, like, you know, people know what I'm talking about, they're reading that, but, like, generally, I want to see what people, like, think in the comments down below. What do you think about Natsu and Zeref, like, kind of a little final clash that they're happening, burning his entire being into one final attack, and the fact as well, what do you think about Lucy as well, the fact that she's pretty much, like, taking Natsu inside of her, like, using, like, all that demonic flame, just burning her insides up, and Gray's, like, pretty much, like, feel weird how they're just being on the support side. I feel like this chapter was, like, pretty quick for the most part, and, like, I don't think it was as good as last week's chapter, especially with some of the Acnologia stuff and all that, because I kind of wish we spent a little bit more time with them, but, as always and all that, like, I feel like something I've wanted for, like, so many years and all that, like, everything that I've seen from the Natsu, like, and Zeref fight is just something where it's, like, I can finally, like, say, for, like, a final fight and all that, I've just been thoroughly enjoying it, and I feel like it hasn't been rushed on that side, but definitely some of the stuff with Acnologia and all that has definitely been kind of like, like, you know, just kind of, I wish a little bit more and all that, but let's see where it goes and all that. That's all from me. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.